Hey everybody, Josh here with an exciting announcement to make and a little fun toy that we are going to play with to help me make this announcement. And that is that, the last 6 months we have moved into the lubricant categories. And, I think with some pretty good success, a couple of tour stage wins with our hot wax product, zero friction cycling, finding that our drip wax is the first and only drip wax to fully penetrate the chain, and also then recorded the lowest wear ever in the first 3 blocks of the zero friction cycling test. And a lot of this comes down to this thing called tungsten disulfide. And one of the stories we have not fully told, because we're working on a third product, is the mechanism of the tungsten disulfide. And there's another secret chemical in there that we're not mentioning, but this combination of tungsten disulfide and this other element form what is known as a durable tribofilm under pressure. And knowing that, and we did not invent this, this was discovered probably 10 years ago by chemists working on some aerospace lubricants. I learned of it through a contact in Formula One who actually left Formula One and wrote a research paper on this topic that, well, you can find it on the internet if you really want to go digging. But it's pretty amazing stuff, and the whole idea of this durable tribofilm will really change the way you think about lubricants. But without further ado, I guess here, we can pull it. Today we're launching Synergetic Chain Oil. So, this is really the third and final piece of our lubricant puzzle. We've got the hot wax for the customer or the pro athlete who is looking for the cleanest, quietest, most efficient chain lube product in the world, and who's willing to properly clean the chain and hot wax it every so often, which I get isn't everybody. Then we have our drip wax product, which is 98% as good as the hot wax product, requires the same amount of cleaning, but doesn't require a dedicated crock pot or heated ultrasonic cleaner to actually get the wax into the chain, and as Zero Friction Cycling Australia has pointed out, is the lowest cost to operate drip lube they have ever tested, coming in just behind hot waxed products. But that's probably another 2 or 3% of the market. I think, let's be honest, not everybody is into the full strip, clean, remove the chain kind of maintenance protocol. Most people want something that they can drip on and forget about. My commuter bike, I think, gets oil on the chain, 4 times a year, and probably, honestly, never gets cleaned, right? And I do this for a living. So, so with that, we've developed Synergetic, which contains a very high concentration of tungsten disulfide and this other magic chemical in a super high purity type 5 synthetic oil. It's one of the most advanced oil products on the market today, and it's the base oil is quite similar to our own original SILCA NFS, which unfortunately we can no longer buy some of the elements that made this product so awesome, but we have been able to I would say more than replace them with some of the amazing new elements in the Synergetic lube. So I will tell you up front, this is already tested faster than NFS, more durable than NFS, and you drip it on with this awesome Lure Lock syringe tip bottle, so you get just the right amount. But what I think is most fascinating and awesome with this product, and I have to say, we didn't believe it when we first tested it, this is so durable inside the chain because of this durable tribofilm. We're calling the TTT, the tungsten tribofilm technology. And so I've got this machine here so we can kind of take a look at what's exactly happening. This is an ASTM oil testing machine. It can test friction, but really it's testing wear, and it's testing the strength of the oil film, and it can help us test whether or not a true tribofilm is forming in the lubricant. And so the way this machine works, we've got a cantilevered, a big lever here with some weights on it. we've got a second lever here that this is going to drive down onto this E52100 bearing steel ring. These are replaceable, which is good. You'll see some of the things we test, you can actually gall the two metals together so badly that we have to throw it out and get a new one. And then we use these roller bearings. These are also E52100. We buy them from Timken. So it's a very high quality bearing steel. And we put that into this little lever arm. And all said and done, all of the math works out here that when this lever is down, we have right at 600 newtons of force in a point. You have obviously two perpendicular cylinders, so it starts as a point. So what is 600 newtons? It's about 61 kilograms of force. This ring here is going to be spinning at 300 RPM, which is, we've slowed it down. That's half of the national test standard, which would be 600 RPMs. But it gets us to a lower temperature and an operating speed that's much closer to what you would find in a chain than you're getting with the 600. So why 600 newtons? Well, peak chain tension in like a track kilo sprint, a kilo start type of situation runs about 3,500 newtons. 600 newtons is possible, like pro tour sprinting type forces. And then the thing that we're really coming down to is this starts as a point, and essentially the metal, the surface here in this bearing will wear, will form a scallop until the surface area grows to the size at which the oil can actually stay between the two pieces of metal, essentially floating the bearing. And so we run the test for 2 minutes, and what you see is by the end of the 2 minutes, it gets quiet, and you've actually reached an equilibrium where there's no more wear going on because you have worn a patch large enough that the oil film can support it. The other thing this is letting us do is at the end you can cross-section the bearing here, and you can look to see in the interface under electron microscope what's going on and whether or not a durable or a semi-permanent tribofilm is being created, as is the case with Synergetic Lube. I mean, this is some really cool stuff, and we will throw up and show you some of these scanning electron microscope images as we get them. So I will tell you, NFS is the best oil we've ever tested. I'm not going to bore you with Mobil 1 motor oil. I'll actually show you. Here's what the Mobil 1 motor oil pin looks like at the end of the testing, and you can see a pretty big score mark required for the oil film to support the ring. NFS is going to be about 4 times better than Mobil 1 motor oil, and really better than almost any other synthetic oil we've tested. So I'm going to start, we're going to run a test, show you how it works, give you a close-up here with the iPhone, and just kind of show you what this is all about, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the new Synergetic oil. You're going to be as blown away as I was when we first started testing this. I mean, I quite literally did not believe it and ran the test over and over and over again because it just seemed too good to be true, but trust me, it's that good. All right, here we go. I am going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the NFS. I will tell you this test, this little magnetic cup here, is meant for this to be filled with oil so that the oil is constantly replenished. We are not going to fill it with oil. We're just going to use this as a splatter guard to prevent us from making a mess. We are going to rely on the film strength of the oil because it's also kind of a nice test of how well the oil is adhering to the metal. And so what I'm going to do here, we'll go ahead and I like to drip the oil both ways. We're going to get this close up both ways there. I'm going to put a little dot onto my pin. So this is commonly often referred to as a pin and ring test. So this is my pin, that's the ring. I'm going to load this guy here, okay, so that it's contacting, and then we're going to get it spinning. And then the test here runs for 2 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and just set it on my Apple Watch And Michelle will go ahead and speed us through this so it doesn't take a full 2 minutes, but I do want you to get kind of the idea of the sound and the fury of the metal being worn away at the beginning of the test as the surface area is growing before the oil film can fully support it. So here we go. Ready? We're going to go 2 minutes. You can hear it starting to settle. So that's about 20 seconds for it to settle out. And I will tell you that it is now going to basically do exactly this for the next minute and 40. Okay, 1 minute in. It's pretty stable. Doesn't sound like much. You can tell it's kind of reached its equilibrium. You can see there's an oil film forming, and the oil is just being whipped around on the ring. You know, you're getting some metal on metal, but not a lot, as you can tell by how quiet it is. Remove our pin, and I'm going to just wipe it. I don't want any apparent sleight of hand here. Just wipe it with a finger. I'm going to show it under my the iPhone here, so you can see it in real time. That is the scuff mark. Let's go ahead and put it up next to our trusty ruler, and you can see it's about 5 millimeters long. That is our NFS, and I got to tell you, this scuff mark is incredible. When we first started testing like this, NFS was the best oil lubricant we'd ever tested. And I think, you know, it goes to show that in the zero friction testing, NFS is the best oil-based lubricant that they have ever tested. And like I said, I had the supplier of one of the subcomponents not stopped making that subcomponent. We would be happily selling NFS today. It's an amazing, amazing product. And I'm super excited for Nick's Friction. I know he's got a new product out that he's worked really hard to develop, and I don't have a test sample of that yet, but I'll be getting it. But let's go ahead and let's have a run at the Synergetic. Now what I'm going to do, I've got this little grinding stone, and we will take and we will grind away. You can hear it there. We have to grind away the steel. You know, the steel that came out of this pin is deposited on the ring. Some of it's dripped into solution in the bottom of the oil, but a lot of it is on the ring. And so we're going to grind it back smooth, and then we're going to start again with our Synergetic. Go ahead and take a gear wipe, and that will remove the rest of the oil that's in there. Let's take a look at it. Oh, you can see on the small camera, it's nice and shiny and smooth and clean. Just give it a little. There we go. Okay, so I am going to take the same exact pin. Okay, I don't want anybody to accuse us of swapping pins here. I'm going to take the same pin. Let's look at it through our iPhone. I'm just going to loosen, I'm going to rotate, and we are going to make a patch with Synergetic right next to the patch we just made with the NFS. So, one of my favorite features about this, other than its sheer awesomeness as a lubricant, is this amazing lure lock syringe tip top. That's an 18 gauge syringe tip. Let me get it here under my, you can kind of take a look. Very, very precise application. You know, ultimately in the end, it's saving you money because you're putting just the right amount. I mean, one drop is a very controlled precision amount coming from this tip. One drop per link let it work its way into the chain, and then wipe the chain clean, and you are going to be blown away by the performance here. So I'm going to put my oil on, put a drip here. You'll notice I'm not dripping nearly as much as was possible with the NFS, just because the tip controls the amount of lubricant dripping. Now, let's get it started. Let's get our timer going. Listen to that. We're at 15 seconds in, and it took maybe, what, a second for that tribofilm to be able to balance the pin. I think you're going to be blown away when you see the results here. So just like with the NFS, you can see there is a little wave of oil that's just being whipped around, and it actually just kind of floats up. Some of it actually goes under the pin, and the pin is really sort of sitting on this oil film, the tribofilm, and the rest of it just kind of mixes around and keeps kind of getting whipped back and forth. I think this is one of the most impressive things. This is why getting the viscosity of these oils is super important. You know, when the oil gets too thin, it gets completely flung off. There's a few oil products that test efficiently on bicycle chain that when you test them like this, you realize why they don't last long in the chain. They fling off very quickly because they're just too thin to stay put. So that's kind of the key with the viscosity. You want to sneak up on the viscosity to get it to that point, you know, where it's gonna stay put, but it's not thick enough that it's adding friction. Oh, and our timer is done. That's our whole 2 minutes. I'm gonna let it go for another who knows how long. I will tell you, it's not gonna change the result of the patch that we get. Okay, so let's pull our Synergetic patch. We are again going to wipe with the finger, and now let's look at it right under there. So there is our wear marks. There's my original, there's the new one. It's so small. It is so small that it's actually hard to photograph. There you go. The other thing that you will notice on the ring here is this sort of polished darker space. That is where the pin was touching. And what has happened here is so cool. The tungsten disulfide platelets and the magic chemical, there is a synergistic or synergetic relationship between these two that was first identified, like I said, in Formula One, that is quite literally like a 1 + 1 = 10 sort of relationship. The tungsten disulfide maybe reduces friction and wear by 10%, and this other chemical can reduce it by about 10%. And when you put them together under pressure, this tribofilm forms, and the combination of the two reduces wear by something on the order of 80 to 90%. And we don't understand why, quite frankly. This is being studied, I would say, at universities all over the world. You know, that's not our job. Our job is to find the best tech and get it to you, the customer. But what happens is, let's take this and let's look. If you cut this in half, and you look at it with the scanning electron microscope, it looks like this. And this is so cool that you have this durable tribofilm. So you look at the bottom here is the steel, and then sort of in the whiter area, you've got the magic chemical with the tungsten disulfide platelets throughout it, and that has actually formed kind of its own super durable solid. And what I find to be really even more fascinating about this is that this is now durable enough that if we were to wipe it dry without solvents, but just wipe it dry, put it back on, and then retest the NFS oil, the NFS would test at about 3 to 4 times better than it tested initially, because it was reaping the benefit of this this durable tribofilm in place. Now, over time, that tribofilm will go away, will be removed if you're not replenishing it with more of the same. But I think it's a pretty fascinating indicator of just how durable the lubricant is, but how it is changing the surface of the metal. And if you continue to use, this product in the chain, and you keep it clean, of course, that's the big caveat, but you got to keep it clean. But if you continue using this, you can dramatically extend drivetrain life. Now, the one downside of the oil, it's an oil, it can still attract dirt, and dirt can still get into the chain. You're still going to have to clean the chain, somewhat regularly. Like after every rain ride, you should be cleaning your chain no matter what lube you're using. But the real benefit of this is that once it's applied to the chain, it's worked its way through the chain, you can wipe the outside of the chain as clean as possible, as dry as possible. And the stuff that remains in the chain is all you need for good lubricant. So there's no need for there to be any excess oil on there. So there you have it. We are so excited for this product. We are going to run through a couple other videos showing you application methods. This stuff works really like magic everywhere. I found myself using it all around the house, and even in some automotive applications, because this, well, I'll just say it, this is basically an additive that is being put into race car engines right now, and it has the same effect in there, right? Everything in here is really aerospace grade product, and yeah, it's kind of like magic in real life. So there you have it, Synergetic lubricant, available now. Please leave your comments below, like and share. Hopefully you're as blown away as we are by these test results. And then stay tuned for more. We're going to have some actual chain testing results, which are similarly impressive, application videos and some other things. So please like us, subscribe, and we will see you soon.